about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Happy Monday. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host. And Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Mindset Monday, which is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to talk about something interesting and exciting. And today's topic is the declutter checklist, and our very special guest is no stranger to Conversations with Nicole, Mr. Ozzie Daniel, who is based in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We haven't seen Ozzie in a few months, but we are super excited and delighted to have him with us tonight to talk about this declutter checklist. But before I bring Ozzie on, I need to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on my personal LinkedIn page, and I love to hear from you. So put your city and state in the comments so we can give you a shout out. And this is an interactive live, so we fully expect to hear from you. Your comments, your questions are welcome as a part of this discussion. So I see my mom on here from Miami. Thank you, Mom, for being here. As well as Sonia B. Hey, everyone. Mindset Monday in the house. Yes. And she says she's trying to get her hands on that list. Yes, that's right. Listen, we had our women's event, Sonia B and I, cocktails and conversations on Friday, and it was amazing. So we talked about the art of letting go, which the primary focus was on decluttering your mind, your emotions, as well as even your spaces. And so this is just an extension of that conversation, I feel, because we started it. Was it last Monday? I think it was last Monday we did a show on the art of letting go. So thank you for being here and for your great support. All right, Miss Jeanette in South Florida, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Miss Stephanie Clark from Tally, thank you. And Miss Vanetta, who is in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Vaughn also went on the trip to Ghana. And so her sister, Dr. Tiffany Packer, will be on with me on Wednesday to give a recap of our Ghana trip. So Vaughn, hopefully you'll be in the comments and give some insight to the trip experience too. So I know there'll be others joining us, but I'm gonna go ahead and share Ozzie's bio. Ozzie Daniel graduated with honors with 5 years of education in psychology and organizational leadership, served in the U.S. Navy, completed many tours overseas, and sea duty extending one time with 146 days straight out in sea. During his career, he served in many departments in the communication field and special forces in high terrain areas. He is a servant leader that enjoys serving others while building a mind of faith and gratitude in the community, while working in the mental health field as a clinician, family coordinator, and a mental health skill builder. Ozzie focuses more on the holistic approach to mental health that includes the whole well-being to enhance the quality of life. He enjoys anything that has to do with relaxation. He loves listening to jazz, reading, cooking his favorite Caribbean meals with a vision of opening a jazz corner for others to relax and unwind from their labor. And his favorite saying is, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And it does not cost a thing to be kind, but be kind to yourself first. So y'all help me welcome Mr. Ozzie Daniel.
Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening.
Well,
Wow, what a great introduction there, Nicole, for the thousandth time. I
hey, that's all
appreciate
right.
it.
Somebody new didn't hear it, so they heard it this time.
And
Boom. We'll do it.
good evening, everyone. To those who are on board, those who are about to come on board, those who are about to listen to it later and now or in the morning or in the midnight hour because you have a
Yes.
hard time sleeping. Like,
You're right.
tune in to conversation
You
with
can
Nicole.
you can
So
tune
thank
right.
you, Nicole, for another Monday night on
You
the
are
eighth month.
you are welcome. You
About
are
to
welcome.
about to close this month out.
We
This is the
are.
fastest month I ever seen. I thought July was fast, but goodness
It's
gracious,
it's all flying.
August just flew.
It's
You
all flying
know?
by Ozzy. So
Yeah.
listen, tell the people who is Ozzy Daniel, not what you do, but who are you in your own words.
In my own words. Okay, let me pull out my script.
Brief, brief.
Well, I believe I over the years I think simplicity is the key for me. And that's where I am migrating my mind, evolving daily, living a life of gratitude. I'm a father, brother, and I just do my best to be the best that I could be, to be a friend, and even those who are around me, give them a sense of purpose. So every time I come on here, it's going to always be a different saying, but within the same alignment. So overall, everything Nicole just said, that's who I am from the marrow of the bones.
All right, very
Yeah,
good. Thank you so much, Ozzy.
you're welcome.
Before we get started, I want to share my disclaimer, which is that all topics, past, present, and future, on Conversations with Nicole are for informational purposes only, and they are not to be used as a diagnosis for treatment or an answer to any personal issues related to the topic being discussed before, during, or after the program. All right, I said it. So, please like, share, tell your friends they need to be on here and be part of this conversation about the declutter checklist. The checklist.
And the most important part of the declutter checklist is have your pen and paper
All right. So you
or
can take
text it to
notes.
yourself as we discuss.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. Let me acknowledge a few more people. Peter is on. Thank you for being here. He's in Tallahassee. Dr. Williams Eduardo in Tallahassee as well. Thank you for joining us. And Miss Susan in Hampton, Virginia.
All
Thank you
right,
for
VA in the house.
VA in the house. All right. So declutter. Why do we even need to have a declutter checklist, Ozzy?
Why? That's a great question because I'll give you a nice example, right? You know, bring in the natural, bring in the spiritual and all that good thing so we can
Hmm.
make a whole pie, bring it into whole. It doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, right? It doesn't matter. From a Pinto to a Maserati to a Ferrari, right?
Hmm.
One thing that got to be done, whether it may be 3,000 miles, synthetic oil, 5,000 miles, 10,000 miles, one thing that got to be done, no matter what, is an oil change.
Right.
So if that oil change is not done within that recommended time, you are actually putting that vehicle at risk.
Okay.
And if you continue going, which probably a lot of people who's listening right now need an oil change and they just say, I got 500 miles I could go without anything happening or another 1,000. But we are actually opening up for issues to come about. So if we opening up for issues to come about in that engine and we're causing it not to run smoothly because of a simple oil change, we are just making an issue of clutter. So now we're cluttering that engine with gunk
Hmm.
and all kind of stuff going up in that engine. So what happened? It's going to cost.
Okay.
out of the pocket, whether you have insurance or not. It's going to cause breakdown and all kind of issues that come about. But I'm going to take it a little further here, if you don't mind, Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Since we are in the 8th month, right? While I was preparing for this evening, it came to my mind that the number 8 and the
Mm-hmm.
significance of number 8. Many languages have meanings for every single thing,
Right.
especially the Hebrew language. We all know the number 7 mean completion, but number 8 have another significance to it, which stands for new beginnings.
Okay.
New beginnings. And when I looked into that, it signified the word chet, which actually chet signify a fence. And if you have a fence up, there's certain things that gonna happen. You have a lot of control, separation, and you'll be able to cause anything to come in or go out. So now with a fence, you have boundaries set up, right? So with that boundary set up, now you have total control and awareness of what's coming in and what's going out. So
Mm-hmm.
here it is, the same situation with our mind. What are we actually letting in and
Mm-hmm.
what are we letting out? Are we
Okay.
aware of our boundaries? Are we aware of our stressors? And if we're not aware of our stressors, guess what's going to happen? A
Right.
whole lot of clutter.
Right.
And with that clutter, it's going to start causing something that we all don't want to deal with. And some people actually go through a whole lot of situations before they realize I need to declutter.
Okay.
Sometimes we think about the physical, whereas you come into a messy house, okay, you got to get rid of some stuff. You have a closet full of clothing that you're not wearing over 20 years. There's a time where you have to declutter, make room for the new, make
Mm-hmm.
room for the new. So the only way to make room for the new is to move things that have been sitting there for years and have not been moved out or give away to someone else that may be in need. But yet, some people are hoarders, want to hold on to everything.
Right.
That's something that we need to get rid of because it helps us to be unselfish. And
So
selfishness lead to a lot of clutter. Go ahead.
let me pause you. I see Key Boykin has
Hey,
joined us.
Kiki.
Thank you for being here. So let me back up. So we talked about, you mentioned the mind, which I think is a great place to start. So when we talk about the mind, we're talking about thoughts, right?
Right.
So perhaps there are some thoughts, maybe, that are not serving us well. Maybe we may think of things negatively,
Mm-hmm.
or from a defeated perspective,
Mm-hmm.
or just bad. I say bad, and I know bad is kind of, you know subjective, but bringing those thoughts under
Right.
subjection, right? Would you not say that
Absolutely.
that's like one of the things on the checklist is like, managing those thoughts before they manage you?
Absolutely. And now, in that case, it's really identifying those thoughts. What are those thoughts that may be bringing on a lot of stress? So
Mm-hmm.
until we identify these stressors, we will not know exactly what is stressing us, what is bringing about anxiety, until we are able to sit down and prioritize all these situations and put it down on paper. That is the
Okay.
most important thing right there, is putting it down on paper. Until we start doing that, we are not thinking. And if we're not thinking, we're really not organizing our thoughts. We're not organizing our tasks. And really and truly, it really comes down to habits. That's why, we spoke about what is your mornings like?
Mm.
what is your habitual mornings like? Is it full of chaos? But how do you identify what's chaos and what's not chaos?
So let's get the viewers involved. If you all don't mind sharing, and I see we have Orain Shamaut. I hope I
Yeah,
said that
go
right.
ahead. Hmm.
Yes. Thank you for
Welcome.
being here. Thank you for joining us. If you all don't mind in the comments, let us know, what does your morning look like when you wake up? What are some of the things that you do in the morning? Share maybe one thing that you do in the morning. And if this is something that you do habitually, if is it something that or do you do it every now and again? Just let us know. What's one thing that you do in the morning? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. All right, I see Miss Jiva, Dr. Jiva St. Fort has joined us. Thank you for being here, Jiva. So let us know, what's your morning look like? What are those thoughts in the morning? What's some of the activities? And again, safe space, no judgment. We are just sharing with one another. In the comments, let us know. Meditate. Yes, love it, Stephanie. Meditate.
Beautiful. That's
That's a
beautiful.
great way to start the morning. I do a little of that, but not consistently praying. Yes,
Praying.
absolutely. Yes,
That's that's beautiful.
that's good. That's good. All right. So others will probably chime in just a moment, but again, it's important, like how you start your day off, right?
Hmm.
Whatever that activity is,
Hmm.
it's gonna set the stage, the foundation for what the rest of the day is gonna kind of be like, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So some people may have the mindset like, man, I got to get to work on time. You know, how often do you really make time for yourself throughout that morning to make sure that you are ready, spirit, mind, and body? Or
Indeed.
are you just in a rush?
Yes.
You know,
So Sonya B, she said every morning at least 15 minutes of breath work, 10 minutes of silence, 15 minutes of meditation, reading, and journaling. Love
um,
it.
that is great. That
That
is
is that's a whole
that's a
regimen.
great
I love
that's
it.
a great habit to have right there, and it sets a poise throughout the day because now, if you get your breathing in sync, you can bring yourself into silence. That now you could hear your inner man speaking to you to really give you that guidance on what's coming, and sometimes it may put you in a position to delay you for a few to get to where you need to get to. All of
Right.
that within that time frame,
Mm-hmm.
and studying and journaling is very important because now you are feeding the mind,
Indeed.
and as someone said, organize my thoughts in the shower. Oh, that's
Su-
wonderful.
yeah, Susan said prayer, shower, organize my thoughts. And Dr. Jiva, I look into the mirror and say, good morning, beautiful. Love it. Love it.
Hey,
Love
that's a
love
great
it.
affirmation to have right there.
Yes,
And
yes, yes,
start the
yes.
day off with that. Oh yeah.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. We've got Miss Princess that just joined us. Greetings. Thank you for being here,
Hey,
Princess.
princess.
Yes. And Sonya said it makes a great difference for centering myself for the day and also feeling plugged into spirit. Yes.
Great
Yes.
mindset. That's a wonderful mindset right there.
Thank you for sharing that, Sonya.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right. So, first thing on that checklist again is letting go of the thoughts that don't serve you. And part of how we do that, which we just kind of express, is how we start our day, right? Praying,
Hmm.
meditating,
Yeah.
um, in the shower, meditating, looking in the mirror, affirming ourselves. Um, all of these things, that all of that is very important.
Hmm.
Would you also say being in the moment might be part of that checklist, Ozzy?
Yes, and that really come in meditation, that come
Hmm.
in sitting silent for, I always say find your 20, but normally finding the
Hmm.
20s throughout the day when things get so busy at times that we tend to lose focus. And the whole thing about living is focus. And you got to
Yes.
be centered and being in the moment so you could be able to think clearly. And once
Indeed.
those thoughts are moving clearly, now action follow through efficiently, and you're able to complete your task. Because
Yes.
many of us get into situations that we are so cluttered that we cannot complete a task fully to move on to the next task. So here it
Hmm.
is. We have 5, 6, 7 things going on and nothing get done.
Yeah.
Why? Because we have not come to the place of putting everything in priority. Now,
Yep.
once we do that, we're able to organize our tasks and have a to-do list. So
Yes.
that's some ways to start putting things in order and organizing, breaking every larger task into smaller tasks. But
Hmm.
are we really sitting down and managing that in writing? Because some of us try to do it in our mind,
Right.
but until it's on paper and we habitually practice that, it's still going to end up being a chaos. Why? Because there may be an important segment that need to be done at a certain time, but
Hmm.
because we don't have a checklist or even a calendar to point and bullet point those situations or information or tasks that need to be done, now we end up missing that. So what
Hmm.
happened after that? It allowed this thing to come about called stress
Yeah. So
and
let me pause
anxiety.
you. Let me pause you. Mom said, she said it's my quiet time to read, listen to inspirational speakers, and pray. Yes. Thank you, Mom. So
That is
yes,
yeah,
it can cause stress.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
that's what we are trying to declutter right there,
Yes.
is
Yes.
to bring everything down to a minimum so we could recognize what we need to be doing to be effective.
Hmm. Indeed. So also, let me just add with that being in the moment, would part of that also be not spending so much time, spending our time in the past? Maybe things rehashing the past and wishing the past would be the present, or spending a lot of time worrying about the future. Right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And some part of it, feeling sorry for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you spend so much time feeling sorry for yourself, that's a lot of energy
Yeah.
being dispelled that should be utilized in more positiveness to bring about better results. So
Mm-hmm.
if we get out of that mindset of feeling sorry for ourselves, as you were saying, the past mistakes, past issues,
Mm-hmm.
drama that we still trying to take control of and be in control of, sometimes we have to know, okay, this is what I could control and this is what I cannot control.
Right.
This is the now that I'm in. So it's better to be present, as you were saying, in the moment. The
Mm-hmm.
more present we are in the moment, the more focused we are able to take on the challenges that may need to be dealt with at that moment.
Right. Okay.
So is it on a high list, or is it really down at the bottom to the point that it could be forgotten in a week
Mm.
or forgotten in a day? Because sometimes we stress so much on those issues that we end up losing time,
Yeah.
but it could be made up. But how much time have been spent to the point that we end up still having to struggle to meet up with deadlines or meet up with requirements or even our own personal growth?
Mm.
So are we putting in that time into ourselves so we could be able to evaluate things more constructively so we could be able to succeed in life?
Okay.
So I have also saying that if you know your purpose and you're learning and evolving in your purpose, now your potential is maximizing day by day.
Mm.
But if we do not know our purpose or understand what our purpose in life is all about,
Mm.
now we are like on a swing, just moving back and forth, trying everything, trying to be a master of everything and not a master of nothing.
Mm.
But it really starts from, are we mastering our mornings?
All
If we
right.
spend some time, get up early, go to bed early, have some good sleep hygiene,
Mm-hmm.
and really master our nighttime so we could be able to get some good rest, so we could be able to do what we need to be doing in the morning. For
Right.
example, I just share a little bit of myself, what I do in the morning. Majority of the time, I'm up around 4, 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
because I go to bed, shut everything down around 9 o'clock. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
care if it's my Philadelphia Eagles playing or the New York Yankees playing or whatever playing. I shut
Right.
it down. Why? Because I could catch the news later and the highlights on ESPN the next day. But
Mm-hmm.
my sleep is a priority. So
Gotcha.
if you don't make something a priority, it's going to be whatever. Someone going to come in and take up your time because no boundaries have been set.
Right.
So I go to bed early. I get up early. I meditate for at least 1 hour. After I meditate, I drink my 16 to 32 ounces of water
Mm-hmm.
because now I'm cleansing my body. I'm flushing everything and detoxing my body. I get
Right.
up. I have 3 books on my counter. 3 books. One is a devotional book, one is a inspirational book, and one is another book that I get my inspiration from in another language. So I'm learning a new language at the same
Okay.
time learning and growing first thing in the morning. So therefore I
Okay.
feed in my mind,
Gotcha.
right? Go ahead.
So, Key said, "Praise God for the life and the brand new day. Express gratitude and thanksgiving and pray."
That
And
is
Lisa
that is
also
good.
said, "Know your purpose."
Know
Yes.
your purpose. Yes.
Mhm.
So I do now. This is habitual now.
Right.
Okay. So if I miss a day or I miss 2 days, which is rare, I'm gonna feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna feel it because now I'm saying, okay, I'm getting off track.
Right.
So it's got to be something positive and enhancing and growing your mind to know, okay, I'm getting off track. So I get back on track. I stay on track because now I'm feeding my mind. I'm feeding my spirit. I'm feeding my body,
Yes.
and of course I have my prayer,
Right.
and now after that, Nicole,
Mm-hmm.
especially now the fall season, which I love. The
Mm-hmm.
temperature is like maybe in the 60s, 62, 65 when you wake up. I get out there and get my morning walk. And
Nice.
during that morning walk, now you get to be in the moment.
Right.
In a moment, you have time to think
Mm-hmm.
and think to a point that now your thoughts is coming to you, not you chasing your thoughts, but your thoughts coming to you on what you need to do and
Mm-hmm.
execute for that day.
Gotcha.
Now, all of this is done within 2 hours. Then I
Mm-hmm.
start my day.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Tia has just joined us. Thank you for being here. Now, Ozzy, I got a question for you. What do you think about doing a daily brain dump?
Okay.
Which I guess would be kind of the equivalent of what you're saying, writing things down, getting it down on paper. So, getting all your to dos and worries and thoughts down on paper, maybe first thing in the morning, keeping a
Mhm.
notebook, keeping a notebook and pencil by your bedside to jot random thoughts down when your mind is full late at night. So, maybe doing it in the morning and maybe doing it at night. What do you think about that? Think
I
that could be on
think,
our
yeah,
checklist?
that is part of the checklist, just
Okay.
like a gratitude journal. We spoke about that throughout the year
Mm-hmm.
on having a gratitude journal because if you could actually think about 3 things that you are thankful for and grateful for, and you write those things down, it set the tone in your mind to shift to the left in more positivity.
Mm.
And the more positive our mind are, we are able to dilute and get rid of the negativity. Now, it's not saying that you're going to escape it, but I guarantee you it won't stick to you
Gotcha. Okay.
because you got too much positivity going on and you're focusing so much on it that you could sense it and discern it as soon as you hear it. But you
Mm,
don't look at it as a bitter thing. You look at it as something that you could deter into a more positive way because we're not going to be able to run from everything, but we could take it and channel it into something more positive.
okay. So we are about halfway through our talk. For those of you who may be just tuning in, I am on with Mr. Ozzie Daniel, who is a clinician out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, and we are talking about the declutter checklist. So far on this list, we have talked about letting go of those thoughts that don't serve you, being in the moment, doing a daily brain dump,
Hmm.
and all of that is part of like what are we doing in the morning, like how do we start out our day, and several of you chimed in with kind of your morning routines, like the first things that you do when you wake up in the morning. So thank you all for sharing that.
Yeah,
uh
thank you.
Jaquetta just joined us. Thank you for being here. So Ozzy, so that daily brain up is very important. What about doing a digital or a screen detox? Spending a day or a weekend day, maybe, or maybe a
Oh,
half a day, uh, not
I
on.
think one of the biggest thing, Nicole, that we need to not do
Mhm.
first thing in the morning, and I know a lot of us do it, is have our phone right there by our bed. And the
No, it's
first thing
right
we do is pop open that screen and start scrolling and start checking and stuff like that. Well, I'm not saying you should not do that, but go through your morning routine of meditating,
there. Hmm.
prayer, reading, do all of those things first. And
Yeah.
then you could check, because now that is a habit. So now how do we break and declutter that to a degree that now we have some type of control over that source? Because some people and some of us, I would say, it's so automatic,
Mm,
automatic. So now how do we shut that automatic off is by being aware of what we're doing. So habitually to make that change to help our focus. And the key
absolutely.
is to help our focus, to improve our focus, and to eliminate the stress. Because now, who wants to get up in the morning, first thing in the morning, and read in the news? Reading some terrible thing to actually offset our whole day to the point that it may piss you off that now you didn't meditate, you didn't pray, you didn't study, you didn't do nothing, and then you going to work, you're driving through traffic, rage, anger,
Mm,
and now
mm,
we're allowing all these things to creep in.
yeah.
Why? Because we did not take charge of our mornings. You
Yeah.
got to master the morning. If you
Got
master
it.
the mornings, you master the day. You don't
Yeah.
master the mornings, your mornings and your day will master you.
All right. Y'all heard that. That's one of the gems right there. Master the morning, master the day. Love it.
Yes. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
So
All right. Hold on. Kiosha just joined us. Thank you for being here, Kiosha. All right. So what do we say? So take us a screen break, right?
you take a
Don't let
screen. Hmm.
don't let that be the first thing that you do in the morning. And maybe again, you just maybe half a day no screen, maybe a whole day no screen, and
Oh,
use that
7 days, no screen.
7 days. Ooh, Ozzy, I don't know. I think
Yeah, don't. Some people are
I
going to just
don't
wait.
know if we can do that.
On the set on January. Well, what about training our minds now, before January, so you won't have to fall into all these different
Oh, you
notions.
talk about like New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, you don't have to fall into all those notions that only last 6 hours. Because again, if it's not written down, you're not thinking. And if you're
Hey,
not thinking, you're just feeling. And feelings change real
well,
quick.
Feel as
You
a
know,
change. All
so
right.
the number one thing is to identify the stressors.
Okay.
That's the number one thing. You know, list the things that are causing you anxiety or stress. Prioritize them based on urgency and importance. That's number one. See, I have my list,
Okay.
right? The next thing, set boundaries. And we just covered some of the boundaries. Social media, unless you're listening to conversation with Nicole,
That's
you
right.
know, that's
Unless you listen
positive,
to conversations with a
positive,
so that's
that's
the only
positive
exception.
vibration. you know, limit the news consumption, and because sometimes we listen to it so much, especially the elderly people, to the point that it overwhelm information to the point now you're taking all this information and now you can't even process the information
Listen,
because now everything starts shutting down.
you stepping on some elder toes right now, because I know my people watch the news 2 and 3 times a day.
Mm. And that's true. And especially if you're going to catch the afternoon news, okay,
Yeah.
great. But you should limit that evening news before bed. Oh, I got to stay up to watch the 11 o'clock news. If I know I need to see that, and I can't fall asleep until I see what's going on. No, all you're doing is just building up anxiety, building up stress, and now you're releasing all that cortisol into your bloodstream that now you start having joint pains
Listen, can't sleep.
and can't sleep and get up to turn the TV back on to help you fall asleep. Why? You have all this stuff going on. Now your brain is so active, it haven't had time to shut down to go into rest mode. See, that's like what I just said a while ago. At
Yep.
9 o'clock, I shut everything down. Why? Because I know it's going to take at least an hour before my mind and my brain just starts settling down and get into that alpha mode,
Hmm.
you know?
Good stuff. Good
All
stuff.
right.
Hold on.
So,
Hold on. We got
mhm.
Terrell. Hey, Terrell. He just joined us. And Miss Tracy Golay, both of them in Tallahassee. Thank you so much for joining us. All right.
Tallahassee's in the house tonight.
Tallahassee is
I
in there.
tell you,
Yes.
nice weather, everybody chilling, have their mosquito repellent next.
Hey, let's go. Come on with this
Okay.
list. Nick Range just chimed in.
What's up, Nick? Man, this man been on vacation for a long time. Welcome back, Nick. I ain't know where you been, but you are here tonight. I
Nick,
had
you
to take a
you
moment to give you a shout out. But
been
normally you see Nick here and there, but Nick, what you got going on later? With later,
yeah, talk to him
later,
offline.
later,
All right.
later.
All right, so let's get back to your list. So you said identify the stressors. I missed the second one. What's the second one?
Set boundaries. Got to
Set,
set boundaries.
set boundaries.
How much time are you spending on stuff that is not productive?
Hmm.
Information that you can't even change because you are not in the position of placing yourself in a position to make change.
Right.
So we have to really know what to really put in order. I'm not saying to dismiss it, but set boundaries,
Hmm.
and stick with it. All right, Nick. Yeah, and stick
All
to
right.
it.
Stick
And
with it.
too
So,
much consumption of social media, it really cluttered the mind because now what are you really engaging in to really help with your own self-development?
right. Okay.
Right. So the next
Got
thing is to practice mindfulness. A couple
it. Okay.
people came on board and say, I meditate in 15 minutes. Some people take a shower and then meditate. Some people meditate while they're taking a shower,
Hmm.
and they're bringing themselves to a place of ease. And the
Hmm.
purpose of doing that is to allow the right things and the good information and the positive things to flow up into our mind.
Mm.
And the best way to do that is to come and train ourselves to come into complete silence.
Hmm.
If you can't sit down and rest, in a resting position for 10 to 15 minutes, even 30 minutes, and you get so agitated, that means there's other things aligning in the body that I don't want to go there. But learn to discipline thyself to come to a place of quietness and stillness. Why? Because when there's situation come about, you know how to handle it, when to speak, when to stay quiet, when to act, and when to not act at that moment. Why?
Mhm.
Because it promotes self-discipline.
Yeah. Okay.
Self-discipline is the key.
Gotcha.
So practicing mindfulness is so important. And
Gotcha.
now it will lead into organizing your task. What
Organizing
do
your
you have
text.
on your checklist to do? How much people you got to see during that week or that day, for your work? Some people may have a whole lot of reports that they need to get completed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all written down? Is all that organized on your checklist, to-do list? You know, how are you doing that? And then on top of that, if you have a messy place and your desk and your physical space is cluttered, that will be a great start to clear those space out so you could have a clean environment to work with.
Yes. Ishmael is on with us. He said, "Good teaching set the day." So thank you,
Yes,
Ishmael.
indeed. Yes,
He's
indeed. Master your mornings so
yes,
your mornings will not master you.
yes, yes, yes. All
Right.
right. So identify the stressors, set boundaries, limit social media and news consumption, practice mindfulness, organize your task.
Mm-hmm. And
What else?
declutter your physical space.
Declutter your physical space.
Yeah, declutter it.
Okay.
And sometimes we need to limit our multitasking. You can Some people have a tendency to say, oh, I'm a multitasker, I'm a great multitasker. Really and truly, you can only do one thing at a time.
Mhm.
So focus on one task at a time and bring it into completion.
Mhm.
So when we have a practice of doing that, now we learning to build our speed. Now we'll be able to do things way faster. Why? Because we
Mhm.
train our mind, self-discipline, completing a task. So as soon as we complete that task, we can move on to another task. And by the
Mhm.
time the day is over, we have completed a whole lot of tasks. Why?
Yeah.
Because we have practiced self-discipline
Mhm.
by decluttering the things that don't need to be present in our moment.
Yeah.
Like that, Nicole?
I do.
Yes. Mm.
I do. I
And
do.
one of the main things that I'm going to touch on is evaluating our relationships.
Uh-oh.
Evaluating our relationships,
Okay.
because if we so busy doing things and engaging in certain situations that is clogging up our purpose and our potential, now we are in a whole emotional state of mind and we are not able to have the right people around to build us up. So
Mm.
now, if you're not building yourself up, how are you going to build anybody else up or add value to them?
Good question.
So to be of value, you got to put in that value by putting in the right information, education, and everything that is enabling us in our potential and the keyword purpose.
Hmm.
Because a man or woman that is living on purpose don't have time to waste time on things that is not fulfilling purpose. Find your purpose, find your life.
Okay. Oh,
And
this is
of course, after we went through all of that good meat and pizza slices on the table, in the plate, however we want to look at it,
Uh-huh.
Now we need to bring ourselves to review those goals and aspiration on a regular basis. You got to set a date on the calendar of review.
Okay.
This day, I'm going to review my goals, my aspiration, my dreams, and everything on this day. You got to make it specific. You cannot meet the objectives if you don't have the goal.
Gotcha.
And in all of that, practice gratitude.
Of
If you're not
course.
thankful for nothing, you're going to be ungrateful for everything.
Of
And if you
course.
got something to blame and people blaming,
Right.
blame, it's not going to go nowhere. It's not going to build nothing
Indeed.
until we start taking personal responsibilities on that.
All right, we got Dante the human Snuggy Williams on with us. He said, yes, Lord, do one thing well as opposed to multiple things below par. So
Oh,
he
wow. That sounds kind of golfy.
well,
I
that is
like that.
aligning
I like
with
that.
your no multitasking. Do one
Hmm.
thing well at a time. So thank you for being here, Dante. And Ish said, us seasoned folks raised on scheduled news morning 6:30, 11 must realize that there is no longer a need to watch it before we go to sleep, disrupting our rest. Yes.
Absolutely, Ishmael.
Yes, 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 yes. So,
That is true. And you know how big I am on sleep to the point
mm,
that we did two segments. Don't sleep on sleep.
don't sleep on sleep. Part one and part two. Yes. And that
Uh,
was
so, you
all
know,
right. Keisha just joined us. She said I was decluttering and missed it. Right. I gotta watch the
good,
replay. Yes, you do.
good,
Watch it.
good,
Watch
good,
it.
good,
Watch
good one, good one. I like that.
it. Mhm.
Yeah. So, these are the steps we need to take on a daily basis and make it habitual,
Yeah.
so we will not get off course because at the end of the year, we want to be able to reflect 8 months to the 12 months of accomplishments
Hmm.
and not despair or regrets or other things that may be leading us into a whole new year, Lord's willing, and we haven't accomplished anything. Why?
Hmm.
Because we did not take that time to put into ourselves and work on our potential. If you know your potential, the only way you could do is feed it. And the only one that could feed that potential to bring it into max is our Lord God Almighty. So, to those who are praying in the morning, bless your heart because now you're connecting your spirit to His spirit. Now you're getting into the soul level. And once we're able to do that and be in tune, now we know what to do throughout the day. We're not thinking ahead because if we work on to today, it's going to take care of tomorrow.
Hmm.
Automatic. We can't
Yeah.
think about the past because the most we could do about our past is what did you learn from it? What did you learn from it to do
Yeah.
better today? So if we're not learning from it, guess what? We're bound to repeat it again and again and again and again. And if we're actually going into that slump that is so negative, it's going to lead to depression. It's going to lead to all the different diagnoses on the DMS-5 that
Mm.
we don't need to be part of. Why? Because our habits. So we want to stay in check and we want to be in reality. Stay in
Mm.
reality. Keep it real. If you need to make a change, make the change.
Yeah.
If you need to stop doing something, stop doing it. Because
Hmm.
guess what? We are able to do whatever we put our mind to do.
Yeah.
That's one free will power that we have. And it's no excuse. And another thing, just stop feeling sorry for yourself. A lot of people just feel sorry for themselves and feel like I can't move on. This failed, that failed. No, get on your knees, get into meditation mode, and and grow. Learn and grow. That's the only way we move forward in this day. And guess what? Now we cultivating, and we don't need to be decluttering, but just cultivating
Mm-hmm.
more and more and more. Now we may need to make some changes along the way, but
Mm-hmm.
it comes by being aware and being present in the moment. If we're not present in the moment, you're somewhere else
Right.
than here.
All great stuff, Ozzy Oz.
So let's put it to practice. And the only way to put it into practice is to be consistent. What are you consistently doing that is bringing positiveness into your life and helping others around you? Now, if it's tearing down someone and tearing down others, I guarantee you it's not positive.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's time to pull back.
So, real quick to recap,
Recap.
we talked about identifying the stressors, setting boundaries, limiting social media and news consumption, practice mindfulness, organize your task, declutter your physical space, limit your multitasking and bringing those tasks into completion. Uh, I put this down as evaluate your relationships,
Mhm.
um, review goals and objectives, practice gratitude, and be consistent.
Yeah. And really be around people that really going to build you up,
Okay,
who are building you up and who are strengthening you so you could be the better self that you are, bringing that potential out of you to be the best you could be, you
okay,
know? Yeah.
good.
And it's all important. And all we have to do is keep on reviewing that by keeping a journal. If we're keeping a journal and we're writing things down, believe me, we have something to reflect on, to think about, and allow our mind to give us the answers that is already there to bring it into the moment.
Got it. All right. Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity to give us some closing remarks and tell the people how they can connect with you.
Okay. uh, well, one of the biggest thing that I think that is so important is this: we're in the 8th month. Make up your mind to have a fresh start. If things haven't been working for you and it's been pulling you down, depressing you, find a way deep within yourself to bring yourself into the moment so you could be able to move forward. And one of the number one thing to do is stop feeling sorry for yourself, because 9 times out of 10, nobody's coming to save you. So if you come to a point to really dig within your own mind, within your own spirit, the answers are already there within you. The potential within you is already there. All you have to do is submit to it. Sometimes we listen to so much external locus of control that we're not listening to the real voice that is within our being to guide us day by day. If we practice doing these things on a daily basis by managing our self management daily and setting ourselves first in priority in everything that we do, now we are really establishing a way to master our own self. You master yourself, you master your discipline within you. Now you're going to experience the most important thing, which is called peace, peace of mind. And the way you can reach me is Facebook, or you could email me, the Oz Corner at gmail.com, or send me a text if you have my phone number, or just come back here again when I do come on Conversation with Nicole. But I'm not hard to find, really, truly. Seek and you shall find, and you'll find me. But at the same token, thank you, Nicole, for opening the door in this platform to share, to motivate, to inspire others. And, I believe in the good things that is happening on this platform. And let's keep it going, you know?
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that so much, Ozzy. You always come with the gems. You dropping the gems, giving us the nuggets. So, and tonight was no different with the declutter checklist. So, I hope that you all have found this to be insightful, something that you can glean from it. As you can see, his email address is scrolling across the bottom, Keisha, Oz corner at gmail.com, as well as his Instagram, OzWiz2819. All right. So, yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Hope something that you can use from it, pass along to somebody else. Uh, we just want us to be our best selves. That's what this is all about. So, encouraging us to use the tools, the tips, the techniques that we talk about here, and be better, be better, be better, live on purpose. So, uh, thank you again, Ozzy,
You're
for
welcome. You're
the time.
welcome. It's all about mastering your mornings. Master your mornings, and I tell you, you will go places that you never imagined. Master your mornings,
Master your
and set the
message. Yeah,
tone. Set the tone in yourself, and once you set the tone, it's hard to break a strong-willed mind who really set the tone in self-discipline. You know,
indeed,
yes.
indeed. All right, so we getting people chiming in. Nick, good job, Ozzy. Great show on the call.
Thank you,
Thank you,
man.
Nick. Susan, great conversation. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. Key Boykins, thank you, Oz and Nicole. You're welcome. Pamelia, I'm going to use it. Okay, Pamelia, we're going to
All
see.
right, that's what I like to hear.
I had to get my glasses to see that. It's okay, Keisha. We got you. Ish, very useful. Keep up the good work, Oz.
Thank
Nice.
you.
Thank you. All right, tomorrow. Yes, use it tomorrow, Pamelia. It's okay. All right. Listen, for those of you who may be new to the platform, please subscribe to the Conversations with Nicole YouTube channel. Subscribers is supporting, and we need all the support we can get. I do believe I reached my 4,000 viewing hours mark. I did get an email from YouTube, so I got another step that I got to do. But thank you all for playing these videos. I really, really, really do appreciate it. So I'll keep y'all posted on what's next after that. Wednesday, we will be here to talk about my trip to Ghana with Dr. Tiffany Packer. She was the curator of that trip. And listen, everybody needs to go. I'm telling you, you gotta go. It was just a life changing experience. So we'll be here again, 8:30 on Wednesday, Eastern time. So definitely tune in and check out that conversation. All right, Kesey giving us some purple hearts. Thank you
All
for joining.
right.
All right, good deal. Well, y'all, we are going to say good night, but keep that declutter checklist nearby and, baby steps. If you can't do all of the things all at once, just do a few of them and keep working on it. Be
Yes,
encouraged.
and indeed. And coming to the end of the year, Lord's willing, I will reiterate and see how everyone is doing on their checklist, the gratitude journal, and how well are you applying it in your daily life.
All right. So y'all
Because
got
the key
homework.
is not just hearing, but doing and applying. And that's where we gain wisdom.
That's it. All right. So let's keep this conversation going. Y'all got homework, so be doing it. Talk to myself too. All right. We'll see y'all next time. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thanks for coming.